Hey everybody, my name is David Chuddick and I am a certified financial planner with Parallel Financial. Today we're going to be talking about a concept called buckets of money. We're going to talk about some different places where you should store different monies that have different purposes. So I hope that you enjoy it. Okay, so some questions to ask yourself with each chunk of money that you have is, when will I need this money? Will I be in a financial bind if this account value decreases? And maybe are there penalties, fees, and surrender charges for this type of account? So the first bucket that I want to talk about is your operating bucket. And this includes bank accounts such as the checking account where your paychecks are deposited and from where your bills and expenses are paid. The operating bucket is not designed to earn a high rate of return and really shouldn't be referred to as an investment. Um, Now, in addition to that, we should all strive to have 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved in case of emergencies. This money should be liquid, should be in some sort of a cash equivalent account, and kept in a separate account from the operating bucket. Now, your emergency fund should not be exposed to market exposure because if you happen to have an emergency at the same time that there's a market downturn, that puts you in financial danger, and that's exactly what we are trying to avoid. So once you have your operating bucket set, then you have your emergency slash opportunity bucket accumulating money. Then you might have some medium time frame goals that you want to plan for. So these could include college savings for a child. It could assume saving for a new home. Maybe you want to upgrade your home. And maybe you have some other medium to midterm expenses. And these may be 2, 5, 10 years from now, so you can afford some market fluctuation. So this bucket can be invested in securities if there's a relatively longer time frame, so that hopefully you can participate in some of the growth that the stock market can offer. Now, in addition to your medium term bucket, we have our long term and our retirement buckets. Now, these can include 401k plans, IRA plans, Roth IRAs, etc. Or they can be a simple brokerage account that's not attached to a retirement account, but in your mind, it is for a long term investment. Longer term investments have time to make up losses, so they can be invested more aggressively if that suits you. So think about it this way. If you're 25 years old and if you have a retirement account, in most cases, you really can't even touch that money for decades. So let's say at 25 years old, you have $100,000 in your account. And let's say the markets just take a turn. It's just not a good year in the markets, and your $100,000 goes down to $80,000. Now, that might depress you. It may not be fun to look at, but you still have decades and decades and decades for that money to recover. So that's why you can invest your long-term retirement accounts in more aggressive manners. But it's also important to know and understand how your retirement accounts are taxed and at what ages you can access those funds. And we will have another video that will discuss that. So, in summary, funds that will be needed in the short term should not be exposed to market risk. The longer the time period before you'll need to access the funds, the more risk that can be taken with the investment. You should consider having separate accounts for monies that will have separate purposes and goals. Understand the tax consequences and withdrawal rules for your retirement plans. Typically, it is not a great idea to max out your retirement plan contributions until a reasonable emergency fund is secured. So your 401k, your retirement plans typically have some surrender charges, and you would have some taxable events if you access that money. So you want to make sure that you have at least somewhat of an emergency fund before you're maxing out your retirement plan. And of course, our financial situations change over time. So it's always wise to revisit how much money should be in each bucket. So if you have any questions, email me, David at parallelfinancial.com, or our office number is 864 385 7999. Thanks, everybody.